So when you're about to listen to a new song, you heard it, you normally recognize it by the cover art. So being a graphic designer, music artwork is one of my first things I got into actually. So today's video, we're going to be going over 8 cover arts that I've designed and giving a brief explanation behind how we got there. Let's go. So in no particular order, we're going to start off first with Sneakbo's Brixton album. This cover was quite special to me. It was probably his biggest album. I don't know if you'd call it his debut album because he has so much bodies of work before that. However, I've even got the physical CD. It's been here for a while and I've had it like literally hung on my wall. So sorry for the way it looks. Got a bit of a cracking, but this cover was so important to me. You can even see my old logo in there. Yeah, this ended up charting actually in the UK chart, which was big. It was definitely within the top 30, maybe even the top 20 if I'm correct. And I was involved with creating the whole like artwork to assets for this project. Started off with me bringing a photographer to take photos of Sneakbo. We only took about 4 photos to be fair, and off of that I went off and just went straight to designing it. Now, as you can see from the actual cover itself, there's a picture of Sneakbo in the hood, and he's got his jet ski wave chain, and it's very prominent with pictures of like a whole collage in the background. So I'll go on to explain that. A fun fact, the original photo of Sneakbo, I'm very big on symmetrical design. I think it's more appealing to the eye. So the original photo of Sneakbo, cut it in half and mirrored to the other side, and then done some Photoshop to make everything look natural. But it worked fine because it looked exactly like Sneakbo anyways. I just wanted to be, a perfectionist. And lucky for him, some people you can do a mirror effect and they'll look completely different. You look exactly the same anyways. So that worked in our favor. The collage, he sent me about 50 to 100 photos, and I completely edited every single one of them, cropped them all out, and placed them where they all fitted correctly. That cover took a long time to get right, but that was so important, such an important project to him as well. So spent a good amount of time on it. Finished it off with a nice black and white effect, and that just ended up being such a big project. Again, I remember it was one of the first projects that I'd seen that I'd done that ended up being on a billboard. I travelled all the way to Brixton station. I remember on the day him and his manager told me it's all out. I got on a train, went straight to Brixton station, going down the escalators. I see my design work everywhere. If I can find the video, I'll pop it up. If not, no problem. And even there was a massive billboard that I designed, which was right in the station. As soon as you come out the train, you'll see it. And it was a proper like cool moment, because when I got there, I had seen his mum and sister were actually there, like looking at it as well. And it was actually a beautiful moment because they were just so happy, and I happened to be there, and I was like, I designed this, and she was just so happy, like, this is my son. And it was amazing. It was a really good feeling. Just witnessing that, and it was a proud project overall. So, I've worked with Sneakbo since he started music, done a bunch of artwork for an album will be in the description as well, so you can take a listen. The next album is Ambush A&B, Ask My Brother. Now, this album was definitely cemented. Ambush as another classic, just like the Sneakbo one, this is another classic. With this artwork now, you can see it's got very prominent yellow to it. Before doing this artwork, I went with different colorways. I tried a pink, baby blue, orange, but the yellow just worked so well. I've also done the Boswell logo previously, and there's a black, yellow, and white colorway to it, and a bit of orange. So I just said it only makes sense to go for this yellowy orange background. It's going to stand out. Now, this artwork, they went and did a photo shoot. I just edited, and it was all more about branding it. The title had to look a certain way, and his picture just had to look cool, because I knew this was going to be a classic album. I'd also previously designed, to be fair, nearly all of his artworks as well. But the jumpy one with Skengdo, I remember his manager showed it to me, and we both agreed that this is it. His manager said to me, he's going to blow off of this, and I heard it, and I agreed. I was like, yep, this is it. And it was never wrong. So when this project came my way, I was like, I have to make something classic, but sometimes less is more, and as you can see, this worked very well. It took about a month or two, just getting everything right. but it was worth it in the end. It's very well worth it. Next up, we have Pac-Man, Big Pakachino. So Pac-Man has been in the game for a long time. UK rap. Pac-Man, we've been working for a long time as well. And on this project, Big Pakachino, when you messaged me and he said, I've got an album coming, a new one. This one's gonna be a level up. He gave me a listen before we even got to work, and I agreed. I was like, this is probably your best body of work. I'll be honest with you. Like, I just knew this was gonna be levels. And the only idea he had said to me is, Jay-Z is a big inspiration of his. I think the Black Album by Jay-Z, he's a big fan of that album. So we had to think, all right, cool, we want something that represents how classic that album is, and for Pac-Man. So he went and did a photo shoot, came up with a bunch of photos, and we basically wanted to replicate that in modern version. And you can see the artwork next to me. I've even got the physical copy as well. Had to do it because this cover was to me, it looked so, I guess there's so many words you can call it. It just looked bossy, it just looked professional, it looked so clean. Just when you see it, it looks like a classic already. So when I heard the project from Pac-Man, and I knew the level to this, and he told me the idea, I said, this makes complete sense. This makes complete sense. This is an inspiration of yours, Jay-Z, one of the biggest rappers of all time, one of the greatest rappers of all time. And to use inspiration for your artwork is basically like it's paying homage. It's paying homage to a great tape. It's also showing the level of your tape. You know, when you think about Jay-Z's albums, you got the Blueprints, and you got the Black Album, got Reasonable Doubts, but the Black Album is very prominent, and a lot of people's it's their top 3, I guess. And for Pac-Man, it stayed the same. So we just had to pay homage, show inspiration, and show that, you know, he was not here to mess around. He delivered a quality project, and you can listen in the description below. And this is one of my favorite covers I've done, just because it looked like money. I felt like we delivered, and you can hear the luxury rap. I think that's what I would call it. This went on the chart as well, into the top 40, and it was great. It was amazing to see. So more projects coming his way, working. So next up we have Skengdo and AM. They're another classic of theirs. Their mixtape, To Bunny. Now, when I was approached to design this, I just got told, listen, it was from D Profit, their producers. It was a collab mixtape, I guess you can call it. They produced everything on it, as far as I know. When they approached me and said, yeah, this is going to be a big mixtape, To Bunny, Skengdo and AM, their buzz was crazy at this time. So I was like, all right, let's get to work. I designed this, I guess you can call it an iconic cover with a bunny in a hoodie, and I created a really cool visual for it as well. And then it got released, and I didn't actually know this, but there was a massive billboard for it. So this was actually my first billboard, which I was unaware of, but the billboard got made, and then when I'd seen it, I remember just being over the moon. Like, the artwork, it speaks a lot for itself. I think it represents even the sound of the music. Like, I had this slight effects over it. It gives you an idea of how the music is. Like, it's that proper, just, it's a drill tape. It's just raw. So this was popular. I'm a very popular mixtape. Very proud to have done this one. It opened a lot of doors as well, just like all the others. Next up, we have R.A. Parabellum. If you know R.A. from Grime Days, his thing was the gangster grime. He went away for 10 years, he came back, and he could be just as consistent as before. When I was chosen to do this one, I was like, okay, cool, this is going to be a proper project. They even gave me this full creative vision. They said, look, we're going to record some videos as well. What do you think we should do? So I kind of co-directed from a distance. The one thing I would definitely say and hold my hand up is I probably wasn't the best with regards to timing on this project, because I had a crappy laptop and the ideas I had just didn't work in exporting time, and I may have like not been the easiest to work with around that time. I'll definitely hold my hands up, but it was a project that I learned a lot on. I loved the artwork. It was clean, very clean. However, with the track list as well, there was like a certain look. So when it came to the visual assets of this, I wanted to do something completely different that I hadn't done before. Like when he went and did a video, they actually allowed me. They said, what do you want? How do you want it to look? It was all done on a green screen. And RA and his management and the videographer, they recorded everything like kind of to the way I said, so that when it came to me editing it, everything just looked proper, like it was so official. It was my first time doing something like this, I guess. And I was so happy with the visuals, regardless of like how long they took. It was one of my favorite projects I designed. Again, I learned so much from it, and yeah, RA he's one of the coolest, so it was a pleasure to work on this as well. The next up, we got Mowgs, the bare Necessities. This mixtape was a big one for him. I had the pleasure of designing this one, and you know, if you've seen Mowgs, you get why he called it the bare Necessities. Went with the whole Jungle Book theme. Yeah, Mowgs is one of the best rappers coming out in the UK. He's got a lot coming out. He just had an EP that I designed that's already out now as well. But with this one, I really wanted to deliver exactly what he said. He said, look, it's called the bare Necessities. If you know, a Jungle Book. So I said, yeah, cool. I know what to do. I went away. I think I designed about 2 concepts at first, and they just weren't there. I don't know what I was thinking. And then he just said, look, Jungle Book, just Jungle Book. That's all you need to think about. Nothing to do with the music, just Jungle Book and Mowgli, I am Mowgli. So I went away and I designed this masterpiece. I'll call it a masterpiece. I was really happy with this. He loved it. And then the visual that we went on to do with this is definitely hands down one of my top 3 visuals I'm done based off of our artwork. I'll display it here quickly as well. I tried to implement some of 3D to it as well. The original cover was all 2D, is a bunch of photo manipulation with animals, settings, and the environment to look exactly like a real life Jungle Book and Mowgs playing Mowgli, sorry. Overall, the project was amazing as well. Quality project as usual. The visual really set it off, and I was so proud of this one. Yeah, it was a great project. It was a great project indeed. Second to last, we have Joey Clipstar, Artist Bars. I worked with Joey for a long time, and this is quite a long time ago. I did this like a good few years ago, and the HB Mixtape. So this is the first of the series, and this is one of my favorite covers I've done, and I'll explain a little bit behind it. So when he approached me to design this cover, it was just like, yeah, just do your thing. I just need something sick. So I just decided that I want to start doing more motion visuals around this time. I had done a few, but I was like, I want to get better. So I really took some time to design this cover, use the branding, made it look like a real massive 3D, HB, and set a whole scene. Like, just, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but just like, I want it to look like the biggest thing outside, if you was out the side and you saw it. So we went ahead, and the visual that I created from this was just crazy. Like, I think at the time, I don't think anyone was really doing that type of visual as good as I did. Of course there was, but when I did it, I just felt like the man. I was like, yeah, this is cinematic. And I didn't even use After Effects or Adobe for that at the time. I used Sony Vegas Pro, which I used when I was like 15, and it really took me back to when I started, before designing, with people that really know I was video editing. I was learning that, but that'll be for another video anyways. But yeah, this was one of my favorite mixtapes, and it stands the test of time, because there's about 8 or 9 or 10 or so on releases, and they just use the same cover, just change the number. So that means a lot when a cover can stand the test of time as well. And lastly, we've got Margs, Untold Truth. Now, everyone will know who Margs is. We've seen him on Filthy Feathers. He's got a podcast, No Behavior, which initially I did the branding for as well. Pen Game Challenge, which he was the host for. I guess he's an all-rounder now, but he was originally a rapper. If you know from back then, Mashtown Margs. At one point, it was literally him or gigs. So he was definitely one of the coolest in the game. Probably still is if he ever released another tape. Now he's just a personality, and he's hilarious. I'm sure everyone knows about him. I've had the pleasure to work with him a lot of times, and this was his last project, his music project that he actually released. So I was able to design it. And this is definitely one of my most favorite pieces of work I've designed, because it was such a long time ago as well. But when I did design it, this is when I was trying to really level up my design. So when I was approached to design it, they just sent me one picture, and I did the rest. And I was really trying to go for this, perfect my photo manipulation skills, and say, how can I make whatever image someone sends me, look like it's in a whole new setting and look kind of as raw as it can, like it's a raw photo, just been edited really well, like as in color graded really well. And we came out with this, and yeah, to be his last project that he released musically, well, I guess that's cool. That's a cool thing to know. And yeah, it was a great take as well. And the cover, I just loved it. It was, at the time, it was my favorite thing that I had designed. So definitely check that out as well until he releases something new. And if he does, maybe I'll have the opportunity to design that again. But yeah, that was 8 of some of my favorite artworks I've designed, with some history behind it, some fun facts. But music artwork is something that always comes my way with regards to work. I always have plans for it. So if you ever need music artwork, feel free to message me on the email below and we can work. I hope you've enjoyed this type of video. There'll be loads more content coming every single week as I've been doing. Quantity increasing every time. Please subscribe, it means a lot. Just click a button, make an account if you have to, share it. Someone would need to see this. And as always, thanks for watching.